Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, with some breaking news. The Las Vegas Raiders have gone out and they have signed linebacker Germaine Pratt. Coming up here on today's show, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know around Pratt, how he's going to fit in with the silver and black. But first, I want to know from the nation. I want you to grade this signing. Give me an A, B, C, D, or an F. Yesterday, when I was live on the Raiders Report, I talked about the possibility of Pratt potentially joining the Las Vegas Raiders. I know there's been a lot of speculation around Jaire Alexander, but yesterday I was like, if the Raiders are going to sign one player between Jaire and Pratt, it's probably going to end up being somebody along the lines of Pratt. So for Las Vegas, you get done with 2 days of Raiders mandatory minicamp, and I can say this, and the reason why I am live right now, and the reason why we got already over 600 people in the building is because, sit at home right now, raise your hand if you were sitting here going, this linebacker room makes me a little bit nervous. And it's not that I don't like a Landon Roberts. It's not I don't think that we got Devin White for a good deal. It's not that I don't think that Cody Lindenberg, a rookie, could turn into a good player. Y'all know that I love Amari Gaynor. I think Tommy Eichenberg is a good player. Jalen Smith, some question marks around him. But to me, when you can sit up here and you can go, this is arguably the best linebacker in our room, and without a doubt, Germaine Pratt makes this football team better. Quite frankly, in the middle of June, I don't know how you're not fired up about that. So if you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button, because I mean this. This might be one of those moves that we don't talk about it being like one of the biggest moves we made in the offseason. But I do really think that you could look at a move like this and go, all right, this is a big part of what we are trying to establish, and I get it. He fits into this linebacker room. I think he's going to be a starter on this team, and the money also says that. It is a one-year deal. This is coming in again from Jordan Schultz, and it ends up being almost $5 million. I believe the exact number that I saw was $4.7 million. If you want a comparison, Landon Roberts got $3 million. If you want a comparison, I don't usually go live on Wednesdays, but when breaking news happens, I promise you this, nobody is going to keep you up to date. Better than Chat Sports, better than the Raiders Report, but I also want y'all to get your questions in. Hashtag Raiders or Super Chat, and I'm going to be here breaking it all down for y'all for as long as you want me here. If you want this thing to turn into a shit show, either somebody's got to hit a gong or somebody's really got to show me you're trying to get this thing a little bit turned up, because I'll tell you what, I haven't done a breaking news show in a long time. My first one as a married man. So give me some grades down below. I want you to grade the signing of Germaine Pratt, A, B, C, D, or F. I mean, right now I'm up there looking at the live poll, and I'm going to see 51% of the votes right now are for A. I see 42% are for B. 6% are for C. Some of the people that are watching right now, Raider Sancho is going to go with an A. Robert Joseph says B+. Ed Robbins, A-. Somebody said, Mitch, is that a black ring? Yeah, man, I'm also married to the nation. A little fist bump right there. And then the Night Devil! Bang! Fabian Moreno off to a hot start. He says, I love the offseason, and I'll bang to that. I think when you look at this Raiders team, they're doing things the right way. I mean, was I the only one fired up today to see Rip Rowan, who is a defensive assistant, getting everybody fired up? He had his shirt off. He's waving the thing around. The Raiders offseason looks totally different from the players, from the coaching staff, and I know I'm not the only one that likes what this organization is doing. And for them to be able to upgrade with a player like Germaine Pratt coming off a career high 143 tackles, but he's also a good coverage linebacker. And I think for me, when I really sat back and I thought about, does Germaine Pratt fit into this team or not? And what's funny is I was actually getting ready, our social media team, I got to give them a huge, huge shout out, because this morning I go, hey, I want to be able to do a show on Germaine Pratt. And I mean, you can see this video. Shout out to our guy. His name's Aiden. He works here. This is from very, very earlier, about 2 hours ago. I was like, I want a short that I can put out that says Germaine Pratt to the Raiders, because, you know, I thought that there was a real possibility to it compared to when I talked about it yesterday on the show. But I'm telling you this, This is a good move. This makes your linebacker room better, but he also makes your linebacker room better because he is a proven veteran. Yes, he's been in only one defense. He spent his entire career with the Cincinnati Bengals. He's been with Lou A., who's now with the Indianapolis Colts, which was actually another team that I did think that he could potentially play on. But what you are going to get here today, I'm going to be breaking down the news around the Las Vegas Raiders going out, signing Germaine Pratt. I promise you this. I'll also tell you about there was another big name player that was at the Raiders facility today on a visit. Maybe they'll go out. Maybe they'll sign him. He plays corner. It's not Jair Alexander. No, it's not Jair. I'll also answer some questions here on today's show, which I got one coming in right now from Raider Muerte. Appreciate you. First off, congrats on being married, brother. Super happy for you and Alex. And second, let's effing go. This is a great move. I agree. I think it's a great move. You make your defense better. You make your linebacker room better. And I will say, I am really curious to see if they make him the green dot. I don't think that they do. I think they're going to keep that with the Landon Roberts. Also, one of the things that I talked about today in the video that I put out literally like 30 minutes ago, and then they signed Pratt was, Cody Lindenberg, the 7th rounder out of Minnesota. He's also been working as like the second Mike linebacker behind the Landon Roberts. They've been giving him the green dot on top of that. But thank you, man, so much. I had an amazing time with my friends, my family. It was so good to be able to go out there and see everyone. But I agree. Them going out and getting Germaine Pratt, a linebacker who can also cover, because that's what this defense needed to me. We needed a linebacker that can cover, and Pratt is somebody that I have confidence in. I'll admit, if you look at his numbers, especially from a PFF standpoint, his coverage grades are probably the worst that they were last season. But I'll also say I don't think it's fair to just look at that as just a Germaine Pratt problem. I would look at it as a Cincinnati Bengals problem. And for anybody that followed the NFL last season, and some of y'all, I get it, are just Raiders fans and you don't follow what's going on. Cincinnati's defense was like historically bad. And I think because it was historically bad, everybody on that defense, especially from a coverage standpoint, has a lot of bad numbers. But to me, you just upgraded your linebacker position and you were able to go out and get the top linebacker on your roster. Like if you told me Germaine Pratt, Devin White, Landon Roberts, rank all three of those players, I'm going to sit up here, I'm going to go Germaine Pratt's number 1, and Landon Roberts number 2, and Devin White's number 3, and I believe the Raiders feel the exact same way because of the money that they paid him. Again, money talks, and the fact that Pratt got more than both of those names that I just mentioned says a lot. I think also when you look at the systems that Lou A used to run in Indianapolis or with Cincinnati, it requires your linebackers to be versatile. And think about how many times we say the word versatile when regards to Patrick Graham, in regards to this defense in general. Germaine Pratt showed versatility. He also showed that he was a great leader. He was a team captain last season. Team captains, 9 out of the 11 players the Raiders drafted. Team captain. Let's also talk about the coaching connection. Well, not coaching connection, the connection. Teammates with Jacoby Myers, teammates with A.J. Cole at college at NC State. What up, Jacob? Do you think Pratt is going to take over more of that Roberts or White role? If it was up to me, this is, I'm trying to get Devin White off the field, and I'm trying to allow Pratt and Landon Roberts to be our main linebackers. And not to say that I'm taking Devin White off the field, but I think this allows White to be an athlete. Like, I didn't want Devin White to be a 3-down linebacker. I thought that was really going to be a bad role for him on this football team. I think it'd be a bad role for him on any team out there. And now, to me, this allows us to allow Devin White to be that athlete. If it was up to me, I'll put Devin White on the field on 3rd down and saying, hey, go be an athlete, go after, go get the quarterback, pin your ears back, and let's get north and south. We already got the Night Devil on. Fabian Moreno, shout out to you. For those of you that do not know, Chugs is on vacation. He's not with me today, so huge shout out to producer Sam, and huge shout out to now stepping in my guy Reed. And you're going to notice something about Reed. He's got something dancing up here, and I'll tell you what, it's been tickling some people. That's all I'm going to say. What up, Richard Hogan? I'd rather have Pratt at 4.7 than Spillane at 13 mil. Oh, man, I want to be able to say I agree with you on that one, but Robert Spillane was really, truly a very big difference maker on defense from a captain standpoint. He was just personified, I think, kind of like that Max Crosby mentality of what you're looking for in a Raider. In a nutshell of just value and how good players are, I think Germaine Pratt at $4.7 million is a better value than Spillane at $13 million. That I agree with you. But replacing Spillane is a lot more difficult just because, again, I think of everything that he also represented and brought to the table. But then again, Germaine Pratt was a team captain last season for the Cincinnati Bengals. So that's also the type of player that you're going to be able to go out there and you're going to be able to get. Richard Hogan, appreciate the super chat. I see another one coming in here from my guy, Ed Robbins. Mitch, do we now get Hilton, Gilmore, or Ramsey? Well, the big difference between those three names, Hilton and Gilmore, free agents, Ramsey, you'd still have to go out and trade for. I don't really think that you're going to see that. The player that the Raiders had on a visit today was Shaquill Griffin, Shaq Griffin, former cornerback. He played with the Seattle Seahawks. He played with Pete Carroll. And, probably a lot of y'all remember Shaq Griffin. I know he had one really, really good year with Seattle. And then I was going to say, then he ended up going to Jacksonville and kind of got lost in the weeds there. And that's when the Jags really went downhill. I don't know. I don't remember if that's like when the whole Urban Meyer thing, everything started, but I remember that offseason, the Jags were paying guys like crazy because that was also the year I believe that Jacksonville paid like Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, all those guys a ridiculous amount of money.
2021, that was when that was his first year, and he picked Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, okay.
And it was like so easy because you're like,
yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, first year as a head coach, and then you get a
Trevor Lawrence.
What
possibly could go wrong?
Well, I can't fuck this up. You did.
Sorry, Urban. You did. You messed it up really bad. I got another super chat rolling in here from Dawson Drake. Now we can just use White as a blitzer. Yes. Great minds think alike, Dawson. One of the roles that I was really trying to be able to find and fix was that K'Lavon Chasen role where, K'Lavon Chasen, I just wanted him to be an edge rusher. If I'm the Raiders, I'm trying to put Devin White in a very similar role to that where it's third down, he's on the field 25, 30% of the time, and again, let him just go out and get the quarterback. Let him be an athlete because you don't want Devin White in coverage. Statistically, he was like the worst coverage linebacker in the NFL, and that's why he ended up getting moved on from multiple different teams. Big name value. I think the Raiders went out and did something very, very smart here by going out and getting Germaine Pratt. I see a few more supers coming in here, which again, I am live on the Raiders board. If you guys do not know, anytime breaking news happens, I got you covered. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure those notifications are turned on. I don't know what the hell I just got on my shirt, but I know it's sticking out, huh? Do I lick it? I think it's pollen. I don't know. Maybe, hopefully. Thugador, the guy who picked off Carr to beat us in the playoffs. Yeah, that was also something I talked about yesterday on the show, which, again, I talked about should the Raiders sign Jair Alexander and should the Raiders sign Germaine Pratt. I said no to Alexander. And if you want to know my reasoning, go watch the video. I said yes to Germaine Pratt just because I thought it made more sense logically for the Las Vegas Raiders to just go out and make the move because to me, they were a lot more uncomfortable with their linebacker room. They were a lot more unconfident than they are their outside corners. But, yeah, Germaine Pratt is the one that picked off Derek Carr in that 26-19 playoff game back in.
Was he also the guy who pushed Patrick Mahomes?
No. The guy who pushed Patrick Mahomes was Joseph Asai. He was a young rookie, but Pratt was the guy that was screaming
at him, right?
At Joseph Asai, like, you can't push him, you can't push the quarterback, and it was very well documented as they were going into the tunnel. Thugador, I hear you. Venthrak, how was the wedding? Everything goes smoothly. Honestly, man, I think for my standpoint, I thought everything went well. There was a few little things that didn't go to perfect to plan. It is what it is, but overall, it was probably the greatest weekend of my life, being able to share, the city of Dallas, being able to share Alex, my wife now, with my family, which, to be honest, saying wife is crazy. No, it's crazy. Like, I was saying we were interviewing a guy today here at Chat Sports, and I was like, blah, 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 my wife. And you sit there and you're like, holy shit. Yeah, it's a crazy thing to say, but I do. I have a silver and black ring. No, this one's just a black ring. This is the one that you guys will see me wearing a lot. I got a different ring when Alex and I go out for date night. But thank you so much for asking. Had a great time. All right, I see one more super from Lucid. And then we will get into, I want to say, the segment here on today's show where I'll just break down a little bit more of the news around Pratt. I don't know if Sam left you a script, but I will just follow your lead. I don't think that there's going to be a script. Cool. Sounds good. Thoughts on the George Pickens trade? I'll tell you this, very random question, but I respect it. I think that it was a win for both sides. I think the Dallas Cowboys get a receiver that's going to be a good fit with them, and if Pickens is motivated and he's a really good receiver, I also think that Pittsburgh moves on from an absolute head case that clearly did not want to be there. And when you see a player that is as talented as George Pickens getting traded for what he got traded for, you know, that same exact light bulb needs to go off in your mind for anybody that wants Jair Alexander, because Jair Alexander is way too talented to be cut and to be a free agent. Just like George Pickens is way too talented to be traded for what he was traded for. But I'm just happy that the Raiders weren't the ones that traded for him, because I wanted absolutely, positively no part of George Pickens. And I'm not even kind of interested. All right, y'all, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to break down the news here around Germaine Pratt. I'm going to tell you how he's going to fit with this defense. I'm also going to tell you, ultimately why I think that this move ended up going down. I don't know if Sam moved it over, but if you go in Raiders graphics, and if you look, I literally have a list logo reveal of why I thought that the Raiders could sign Germaine Pratt from yesterday's show. I don't know if it's in there, but I know we talked about it yesterday. So just keep that in mind, if you can. Pratt's also going to be in there. Yep. So Pratt was on the show yesterday. So if you want to add that one, we'll do that. All right, y'all. If you want to shout out here on the Raiders Report, we're just getting a few little odds and ends together on the back end. I want to know your grade for the Raiders going out and getting Germaine Pratt. Again, it is a 1-year deal worth up to $4.7, or it's what? 1 year, $4.25 million deal. I thought somewhere I saw it could be up to 4.7, but 1 year, $4.25 million. Could get another $500K in playtime incentives. All right, yeah. So I think, yeah, that's right. I saw the 4.7 number. That makes a little bit more sense. I was like, damn it, man. I thought I saw 4.7. All right, I see James Hahn going to go with an A. Zalesbo's going to go with a B. THA. Raider Nation 88 is going to go with 3 A's. Mark Day is going to go with an A. Raphael C, B+. Eric Huntley says, love Pratt, love the signing. It's an A. Devin Aguirre's going to go with an A. I mean, quite frankly, I have seen nothing but A's and B's down below, which tells me that I made the right decision by going live here on the Raiders Report. Because, again, Chugs isn't here. I was sitting debating, trying to figure out if whether or not I should go live or not. But, man, oh, man, good move here by the Raiders. John, wait till you start saying my son or my daughter. Yeah, luckily I got a little ways to go until I say that. All I'm hoping is that Max Crosby sacks Bo Nix, and I hope Max calls him my son. You know what I mean? Like, that'll work for me. I got a few years though until that one happens. Born a Raiders fan, what free agent, wide receiver, and cornerback should we target? I'll get to that question after I break down all this news here around Germaine Pratt. And again, if you haven't already, please make sure you click that like button. Believe it or not, it does really, really help us out. I am just a normal dude that loves talking about the Raiders, and I'll be very transparent. When you guys do that type of shit, it really, really helps this channel grow. If this is the first time you're coming across the Raiders Report, anytime breaking news happens, I don't care if it's when I was getting ready to leave. I was literally had the backpack on, getting ready to leave work, and then guess what? Breaking news happens. My dedication to you, I know I'm married to my wife, Alex, but I'm also very much so married to the nation, and I hope that you guys know that. So when breaking news happens, we got you covered. Make sure you turn on your notification bell. Make sure you click that subscribe button. And coming up here right now on the Raiders Report, I'm going to do a full breakdown, think about 12 to 15 minutes of the news of the Raiders going out, getting Germaine Pratt, and ultimately why I think that they did this. And then also, what does this mean for a Tommy Eichenberg? What does this mean for Devin White? What does this mean for Amari Gaynor? Are the Raiders going to make any other moves? They did have a visit. That's all coming up right now here. You ready? On the Raiders Report. We got some breaking news. The Las Vegas Raiders have gone out and they have signed linebacker Germaine Pratt to a one-year deal worth $4.25 million. Pratt can also earn an additional $500,000 in incentives, so a total of up to $4.7 million. My name is Mitchell Renz. I am host of the Raiders Report, and when breaking news happens, I promise you, I got you covered. I was literally getting ready to leave work for the day, but you know what? The Raiders' Pete Carroll said, Mitch, we're not letting you leave yet. And if you're just like me and you don't give a shit that it's June 11th, when the Raiders make a move, I want to be able to sit up here and I want to be able to talk about it. So to the over 1,000 people that are watching this live right now, huge shout out to you. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to break down ultimately why I believe the Raiders ended up signing Germaine Pratt. Then at the end of the show, I'll kind of talk about some of the other linebackers that I think it impacts the most. And then at the very, very end of the show, I want to tell you all about the player who also came in on a visit today for the Raiders. Big name guy. So the first reason of why I believe that the Raiders went out and got Germaine Pratt, to me this says that they thought that their linebacker room was a weak linebacker room. And, you know, you think about like rookie minicamp, right? For them to sign a guy like Jalen Smith really indicated to me, okay, maybe they're not 100% confident in this room. Then you got to Landon Roberts. I also think money talks, and everybody knows that money talks. So when you look at the contract overall, Germaine Pratt, 1 year, 4.25, let's just call it 4.7 mil. He's the highest paid linebacker on the team. They gave Landon Roberts $3 million 1 year. They gave Devin White $1.2 million. So that tells me that they believe that this guy is probably the best linebacker on their team. And one of the things that I said yesterday was, if you feel like that you can upgrade at any position, and if you feel like there's somebody out there that could be the best player on your team, somebody that could be a starter, I think you have to consider it, just because there was a lot of uncertainty around the Raiders linebacker room. And if you don't think that there was any uncertainty, man, I wish I had your confidence. Let's go to the other reason here of why I think that the Silver and Black ended up doing it. They had plenty of salary cap space to do it. Entering today, now this is not the number that we are at now. This is the number that we were at prior to the signing of Germaine Pratt. But again, you can do the math. 36.8 mil minus, let's call it 4.7, and then bada bing, bada boom, right? You got your number there. But the Raiders had money to do it. And I know it was reported by Vincent Bonsignor that the Raiders were probably not going to go out and sign anybody else. It's the other reason why I always tell people, I know how difficult it is being a beat reporter, but just because it's being reported by the Raiders beat reporters, I would take all that stuff with a grain of salt and take it all as an opinion. His opinion was wrong on that. Totally fine. My point is, I knew that there was at least a chance that the Raiders could do it. I also said, though, that I didn't think it was a very big chance that it could happen, though I do want to give a huge shout out to our social media team, and we use a platform called Slack. This is from about 3 hours ago. I wanted our guy Aiden to make one, Germaine Pratt to the Raiders, because, you know, I thought that there was a little bit more of a possibility of it happening today. There you go. You got to see a little bit of it. I got two more reasons coming up here in just a moment of why I believe the Raiders signed Pratt. And this last one down here, I think is going to be a very big, oh shit, all right, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Before I break that all down, I want a one-word reaction to the Las Vegas Raiders going out and signing Germaine Pratt. So you're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, I want you to scroll on down. Give me your one-word answer. My answer is coming up right here after this YouTube ad break. Starter. Germaine Pratt will be a starter on the Las Vegas Raiders. The money indicates that. His talent indicates that. And I think when you think about what the Raiders are looking for from an overall team standpoint, that also is right there. The Raiders love team captains. The Raiders want people that are going to put the team first, and they're going to put always, no matter what, team first. And that's what Germaine Pratt has done. He was a 2024 team captain, and if you don't think that that matters to the Las Vegas Raiders, then you didn't follow what they did in the draft. 9 out of the 11 players that Pete Carroll and John Spytek drafted this past year at least wore the C on their chest. So when you know that 9 out of the 11 players were captains, on top of the fact of, you look at the numbers that are up on screen right there, I mean, Germaine Pratt is coming off a career year in terms of tackles, 143 tackles. It is the most tackles that he's had in a career. But my biggest concern with this Raiders linebacker room was, Are we going to be able to find anybody that can cover? Are we going to be able to find anybody that's a little bit different? Because I like Landon Roberts. Just don't think he's very good at covering. Devin White, I don't think he's very good at covering, right? And then this is the linebacker room before the Raiders went out, by the way, and got Germaine Pratt. You know, Jalen Smith, not really that dude. Amari Gaynor, I liked him in coverage. Tommy Eichenberg, Lindenberg, still a little bit of TBD there. But the one thing that I think Pratt is going to be able to offer, and I know we have a list 4 PFF grade of Germaine over the past, few years, or it might be a list logo, excuse me. Essentially, Pratt is a better coverage linebacker than I think a lot of the guys that we had on our team. I would say that he's going to take Devin White's spot because I would say Landon Roberts and Pratt are your top 2 linebackers on the squad. But you're talking about a guy 3 years ago, he had a 90 overall coverage grade. In 2023, had a 60 overall coverage grade. Last season did struggle a little bit more, but to me, yes. Also, I should mention the numbers that are on the left are his overall PFF grade. That was a mistake that I made when I first built these graphics. And then the coverage grade, though, is the one that I want you to look at because he does provide some stability in terms of being a good coverage linebacker. Now, you're going to look at that and go 53.4. That's not any good. It's okay. It's definitely a little bit lower. But I'll say this. Football's a team sport, right? We all know that. The Bengals defense last season was absolutely, positively atrocious. I mean, think about how great they were on offense. The reason why they didn't make the playoffs because the Bengals defense looked like the Raiders defense back when they had Damon Arnett out there on the football field. I do think Germaine Pratt, former team captain, probably the best linebacker that we have on our roster. But then let's get to the final reason here. And there's always a connection. This regime loves connections, and I didn't find a coaching connection, I'll be honest, but what I did find is a connection between 2 college teammates, Jacoby Myers and A.J. Cole. Think about the type of player in person that Jacoby Myers is. To me, he's exactly the type of man that I want being a leader on this football team, and I think it's the exact same type of player that the Raiders want. And then you got a guy that they just gave a 4-year extension to, somebody who they made the highest paid punter in the NFL. And some people might look at that and go, oh, it's just a punter. I would look at it more as Pete Carroll and John Spytek tied A.J. Cole to their entire regime with the Raiders. Pete Carroll's got 3 years with a 4th-year option. John Spytek has got 5 years with the Raiders. They gave A.J. Cole a 4-year deal or 4-year extension, 1 year, so that's 5 years in total. I would be shocked if this organization, after making the move that they did today, didn't talk to Jacoby and didn't talk to A.J. Cole and just said, hey, what do you think about Germaine Pratt? Tell me what you know about him. And then today, after the second day of Raiders minicamp, they go out and they get this deal done. I am so proud of this Raiders organization for honestly operating and doing things in a smart way because they haven't done them. Like when you see a guy like Pete Carroll going out there, laying people's elbows. When you see the Raiders defensive assistant coach, his name's Rip, he's out there today, no shirt on, waving a shirt around, and they're firing people up. They're bringing that energy June 11th, and I can't wait to see what they do a little bit later on. This is going to be one fun offseason, but I am very, very proud that the Raiders went out and they got a player that makes them better. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. Germaine Pratt makes the Las Vegas Raiders better. If you disagree with it, I don't know how you disagree with it, quite frankly. So let's do this a little Madden style. I like playing this game a lot. And speaking of Madden, I'm going to be live on Friday. Raiders, Chiefs, FKC's down below. It's going to be a really, really big game. I want you to grade Pratt as a player and scale it for me from 1 to 100. 1, he's absolute dog shit. 100, he is the best linebacker in the National Football League. For me personally, I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to go, he's a solid 80. A solid 79, maybe an 81 overall. And I say that because, yes, the tackling numbers are impressive. The tackles for losses, the PBUs, it's all good. Though, when you look at some of his numbers from a coverage standpoint, I actually don't think that these numbers are all that bad. A quarterback rating against of 94.6, I'd actually say for how often he was targeted, it's not too bad. 2 touchdowns allowed, 494 yards overall. But to me, I believe in Germaine Pratt more than I do Devin White. I believe in Germaine Pratt more than I do Landon Roberts in the coverage game. I believe in Germaine Pratt more than any of those other young, unproven linebackers. Now, Amari Gaynor, Tommy Eichenberg, and Cody Lindenberg, they might be able to go out there and they could surprise us. But I do really, really honestly think that Germaine Pratt could be a player like a Robert Spillane, where he's able to step in and he's able to be versatile. Because when you go and you look at Lou A., and I can never remember how to exactly pronounce the old Bengals defensive coordinator's name. He's now with the Indianapolis Colts. Let's call him Lou A. His defenses are very predicated on linebackers needing to be versatile. And Patrick Graham is going to ask Germaine Pratt to do the exact same thing. I think this also just opens up Devin White's game to just be that athlete. Let him get after the quarterback, because now to me you got Pratt, you got Landon Roberts, and you allow them to be your main linebackers. And for the Raiders who were trying to replace a Caleb Von Chase, and I know Devin White, Caleb Von Chase are very different, but the reason why I was nervous about the signing of Devin White is because to me he wasn't a three-down linebacker. Germaine Pratt and Landon Roberts can be. This now allows Devin White to be the athlete that he is, because that's what Devin White should be. Devin White should be a freaking edge rusher in today's day and age of the NFL. Now, I do want to say this. The Raiders also had a player try out today. It was made a player bio by Sam. At least that's what he told me that he made. If it's not in there, I'll just say it. But the Raiders, bingo, bango, there we go. Shaquill Griffin also was on a visit today with the Las Vegas Raiders, and I think that that's really important because, again, you go back to connections. You go back and you talk about where certain players are going to be able to go out there and where they're going to fit. So for him, this is a third-round pick in the 2017 draft. He was with the Seattle Seahawks from 2017 to 2020. I know the Raiders are still trying to figure out this nickel situation a little bit. They seem to be very confident in their outside corners, which is what Shaquill Griffin is. But if the Raiders believe that you're going to be able to add competition to a room, and if they believe that there's that connection right there, then that just seems like the cherry on top. So I know some people probably wanted the Raiders to go out and get a Jair Alexander or a trade for a Jalen Ramsey. I just think that they're a lot more confident in Eric Stokes and Darian Porter, who have been predominantly working with the ones. Jacorian Bennett still coming back to health. But Shaq Griffin was an absolute dog with the Seattle Seahawks, and the Raiders went out and they gave him an opportunity to go out and have a visit today on Wednesday. So again, the breaking news from today's show is the Las Vegas Raiders, they just went out and they signed linebacker Germaine Pratt. If you're not watching this live, pull up here to the Raiders Report Live. We're going to be sitting here talking about this, answering some questions. If you're not watching this live, make sure you pull up right now. Germaine Pratt, welcome to the nation. Pete Carroll, John Spytek, yet again, making a smart move for the silver and black. All right, y'all, grade the signing of Germaine Pratt. We are still going to be sitting up here talking, breaking it all down. Richard West said, injuries happen. Yep, I hear you loud and clear in regards to Shaquill Griffin. For Germaine Pratt, though, to the 1,300 people that are watching this bad boy right now, I don't know about y'all, I feel pretty damn good about the move. I really do. I think that this is just simply one of those moves that makes this football team instantly better. And if you can find somebody that makes your team instantly better, well, then to me, you're crazy if you don't go out and you try to do it. So you got to tip your cap, man. You got to be able to go out there and tip your cap. I see Raider Nation 80 is going to say a B. Jeremy Cole's going to say an A. If it was up to me, I'd give this move a B, B+ grade. The only reason why I'm not going to say it's an A is because to me, like an A move, it's got to be a little bit bigger, right? Like if you were able to get back Robert Spillane at $8 million, like that's an A+ move. But I do really think that Germaine Pratt is the best linebacker on this team. All right, let's go to Born a Raiders fan. So here's how the remainder of this live show is going to go. I am going to stay live for, let's say, 20 minutes, and I'm going to answer some questions here on the Raiders Report. If I don't get any questions, if y'all don't want to turn this into a shit show, it's all good. I'm not going to take an offense to that. Reed and I will get on out of here. But I really wanted to be able to go live because yesterday when I was live, I said, if the Raiders sign Jair or if they sign Germaine Pratt, I want to be able to pull up here and I want to be able to answer some questions. So there's two ways how you get up on screen. Hashtag Raiders, super chat to skip the line. What free agent, wide receiver, and cornerback should we target? I don't think we need to target a wide receiver. And, one of the things that I talked about today was how great Michael Mayer was. And, the Raiders, to me, are really trying to get Michael Mayer involved, and I think they're just really clearly trying to see what they got in him. Dante Thornton Jr. continues to step up. Jack Besh is a dog. They like what they have in Trey Tucker. So wide receiver, I'll be honest, I don't really think is a necessity. If you told me cornerback, I would say Mike Hilton, who, by the way, teammates with Germaine Pratt. And I would say the top nickel corner out there right now is, in fact, Mike Hilton. And I know that the Raiders have been doing some different looks between safeties. They've been doing some different looks, bringing in Thomas Harper to be a nickel. They have Lonnie Johnson as the main third safety. Darnay Holmes actually had an interception today. It was on a tip ball. But I know that they love Darian Porter, Eric Stokes, and Jacorian Bennett. Maybe they try to put Jacorian in at the slot because I think he has a lot of the similar athletic traits, let's call it, as somebody like a Nate Hobbs, who you're like, this guy's just a phenomenal athlete. And Jacorian is literally in the 99 percentile of athletes at the cornerback position. That's truly how special he is. Like, I actually think he's more athletic than a guy like Darian Porter if you're talking about just the athletic testing. Maybe not the length, all that type of stuff, but I would say Mike Hilton. Why don't we just pair up Mike Hilton with Germaine Pratt? I think that would be a lot of fun, quite frankly. Let's go to Venthrak for the great tuna, Never Forgotten. Yeah, it's crazy, actually, Venthrak. I was cleaning out my Raiders, let's call it my Raiders closet here. We're reorganizing because Chat Sports is, I got a room in here and it's almost mine fully. I found a letter, actually, that Brandon wrote me probably a good year and a half, 2 years ago. I will find an opportunity to read that letter live on the show. It's going to be a tearjerker. Honestly, I teared up a little bit today, but I also think it's pretty wild that you mentioned Brandon, because one of the things that I started on the video that I put out earlier today was a segment, and it's around Brandon. It's going to be something that I really try to do in all of my shows going forward. Breaking news is a little bit different just because, again, I'm trying to get the video out quick. But I'm starting to do, we're calling it Tuna's Top 5, and it's going to be a segment that I do. And today was, what's your favorite board game? So if you want to see my favorite board games, if you want to see the brand new segment, go check out the video that I put out literally like an hour ago, right before the Germaine Pratt breaking news happened. Let's go to Mr. Awesome, big glue guy, big leader, ask Bengals players. He's a huge glue guy. He's a huge leader, and he's also a good football player. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like we're just getting some guy that, they're casting away. I think for Cincinnati, as y'all saw, they just don't want to pay guys. And, they don't want to pay Trey Hendrickson. They don't want to pay, their first-round rookie. So now you're getting a guy who I really thought he was going to follow his defensive coordinator in Lou A, and he was going to go to Indianapolis, but we got an outstanding human being. I don't know how old he is. I want to say he's 29 years old. Huh?
I want to guess.
You want to guess?
Yeah, let me guess.
All right, how old?
I want to say
He just had a birthday May 21st.
28.
29 years old. So, 29 years old. He's still got some good years left in him. Who knows? This could be a one-year prove-it deal for Pratt, and they might even keep him around a little bit longer. The Raiders' defense got better today. It really, truly did. I'll say this. You're not going to see Germaine Pratt on Friday, unfortunately. In our Madden sim, that game's already been run, and Chugs is not here. So I want to be able to just throw that out. Keep that in mind. Are you going to be with me on Friday? Yeah. Reed's with me tomorrow, and he's with me on Friday. And with that mustache, I'm telling you this, we're going to get wild on Friday. That I can guarantee you. We're going to get really, really wild on that Friday.
I feel like I can't show it yet. I feel like it's got to be.
I'll tell you, I'm impressed.
We got it.
When you first showed up with it, I was like, I don't know if it's ever going to make it. It's a good-looking mustache.
Thank you.
It's a good-looking stash.
I think we'll wait till tomorrow.
We'll wait till tomorrow.
They can see it tomorrow.
I like it. All right, y'all, so we went live here for the breaking news around the Raiders going out and signing linebacker Germaine Pratt. So I don't see any more questions down there below. If we could get a few extra questions, that would be great. What do you got for me? Jeremy Cole. Let's do it. Why not? Jeremy, 2 questions. Could the coaches explain his decline in Cincinnati, and which linebacker could be a trade candidate after the signing? I don't know if you're going to see – it might be from yesterday, in all honesty, but obviously it fits here. His decline in Cincinnati, I honestly think it was more to do with the Bengals defense. Oh, okay, cool. Jeremy, awesome. I would say the Bengals defense last season led to a huge decline. So, again, what do I mean by that exactly? When your offense is scoring at such a high rate, then your defense is honestly going to be on the field a bunch. And the Bengals defense was on the field a historic amount. But I don't think people realize just from a collective unit how banged up Cincy's defense was. And when you are one of the lone healthy players and when your defensive line is very banged up and everybody else around you is very banged up, you're just asked to do a little bit more. And maybe he was asked to wear too many hats, right? He was trying to be too many cooks in the kitchen. Because to me, when you go back and you look at Germaine Pratt, and I think the tape that you should watch on Pratt is honestly 2022, 2023. Like, that's really damn good linebacker tape. Last season, he struggled. But, again, the entire defense for Cincinnati really, really struggled. And then trade candidate after the signing, I don't really think the Raiders have a linebacker that teams would be willing to trade for. Like, nobody's going to trade for Devin White. Landon Roberts, you'd probably get maybe a team that would be willing, but that's not going to happen. And then for Amari Gaynor, Tommy Eichenberg, like, to me, this is bad news for Eichenberg. It really, truly is. Cody Lindenberg was making some right moves going forward, but to me, I am somebody that looks at rumors. I am somebody that tries to read tea leaves, and I think to myself, there was a lot of really good reports about Tommy Eichenberg before mandatory minicamp, okay? Then I got word today that Cody Lindenberg has basically been like the number 2 Mike linebacker behind a Landon Roberts, not Eichenberg. And now you go out and you sign another linebacker where it could just be the Raiders saying, hey, I felt like that we could get better, so that's why we went out and did it. But I don't really think that this means that the Raiders are going to trade away any of their guys just because I don't think they have any guys at that linebacker room to trade. So what's really going to be fun, though, also it's how it's all going to work, I think, with Jeremy Chin, who's been an absolute dog at practice, and he's been flying around the football field. They've been using him as a safety, as a linebacker hybrid. Let's go to my man, Mount Raider Moore Venthrak. Any news on re-signing Colton or Jacoby? Well, the re-signing is not the right word. It's extension is the word that you're looking for. And honestly, I haven't heard much. I reached out to Colton Miller's camp today. And I'll say this, Venter, I kind of went in a little bit more depth on the video that I put out this morning on Miller. And Vincent Bonsignore reported that Colton and the Raiders aren't close. But to me, when I talked to Miller, this was before the NFL draft, because remember the report came out of, he's like holding out. Miller's camp made it very clear to me that they're not worried about a contract extension, that they believe that one will honestly end up getting done. And I think Miller has made that pretty clear when he talks to the media. I also think it's, when I hear far apart, I don't honestly think of it as like money. I think of it as more as priority, where right now I think the Raiders' priority is seeing what they have in this team, and they're not worried about Jacoby and Colton, because if those guys are showing up at non-mandatory things, to me as a coaching staff, I'm not worried about them. I know that they want to be a part of this team, and I'll try to reward them after minicamp and before training camp when I got 6 weeks to be able to do it. But in terms of an update here, no. If you want a more in-depth analysis, I talk about this for like 5 minutes on the video that I put out today, which was Raiders minicamp news. Let's go to Born a Raiders fan. What up, what up? What about Asante Samuel, cheaper and younger? The only reason why I'm not going to say Asante Samuel is because I think a lot of people associate Samuel with his dad, and his dad was an elite nickel corner. Asante Samuel's not a nickel corner. He's more of an outside guy, and that's really all he's done. He also doesn't really fit, I would say, the mold of what Pete Carroll looks for in his outside corners. Long, lanky, extremely athletic. So, yes, Samuel is a good player, but I think that there's also a big reason why he's still out there on the open market. And to me, he's out there on the open market from a simple fact of wild. He's out there on the open market because he's got an injury. And right now there's a lot of people that are concerned about that injury. And I don't remember if it was a back or there's something, but there's something going on with Asante Samuel. I don't think that the Raiders would make this move. Rockin' Jock. What up, Rockin' Jock? Or that's an old one. My bad. Though, oh, this one's wild. Bayou Raider! Bang! On behalf of Venthrak, bang for the big tuna. R.I.P. to the brother, man. I'm telling you, the amount of times that y'all still bring up Brandon Jasper, I think it's one of the coolest things that, y'all do, and I think it's, again, proof that you die twice in your lifetime. You die when you die, and you die the last time somebody speaks your name. I know the great Tuna's looking down right now, and he's probably as happy as he could be. He's probably up there chugging a freaking beer right now, pissed off at me that I'm not chugging one. But, it's one of those things. This is a good football move. He would be proud of a good football move. And Bayou Raider, thank you, man. That's an amazing thing. Let's go to White Hat. What up, White Hat? Yeah, buddy. We mentioned it previously. How is Pratt's pass coverage? I think White, Pratt, and Landon Roberts, etc., will be a great group. To me, so first off, we'll show the stats here of his 2024 coverage stats. This is, again, in 17 games. He was targeted 61 times. He gave up 45 catches for 494 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 94.6, which honestly is pretty good considering how bad the Bengals defense was last season. Also a 53 overall PFF coverage grade, but again, I think that number fell down a little bit simply just because, I think it just fell down because of how bad that defense was. But holy shit. Oh, Van Thrick! Bang! Bayou, I see you. Game recognizes game. All right, y'all. I'll tell you what, if this thing gets wild, you don't know how it's going to go. But I do think game recognizes game. And if I'm Germaine Pratt, guess what I'm doing tonight? I'm going to go on social media. I'm going to look up my name, and I'm going to see how Raider Nation reacts because we're in the middle of June, right? This isn't free agency time where everybody and their mother and brother are talking about it. Germaine Pratt, I guarantee you, finds this show. And he's going to see people like Ventrak. He's going to see people like Bayou. He's going to see people like Fabian, a.k.a. the Night Devil. And he's going to be like, I think I made the right choice. And if you don't think players watch this show or if you don't think players look up their own name, come on, man. You're smarter than that. You're better than that. You're smart. You're loyal. And I appreciate you. All right, we've gotten 3 bangs. I just got a message that said, Mitch, how much for a boot? If we get 3 more bangs, I'm putting down a boot, and then I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the show. What up, Truth Bomb? I've seen your videos and how the offend rookies are showing off. Offensive rookies, all right. Defensive rookies or UDFAs you're liking, that can surprise us. So we'll first start off on offense. I mean, Dante Thornton Jr. is really, truly doing things that I think deserves to be recognized. I mean, he is absolutely balling out, no doubt about it. On the defensive side of the football, I would say there's a lot of trust from Cody Lindenberg. Again, they gave him the green dot, which is a huge, huge thing. Again, he's the middle linebacker behind Landon Roberts. I've heard a lot of good things about Tonka Hemingway and J.J. Pegues. I actually talked about both of those guys very early in my show today, just like how they're always asking questions. Honestly, Adam Butler kind of joked about it today of like those guys just are always asking me stuff, But, that's what you want from a young rookie. I want them to try to be a sponge. I want them to try to soak up everything. Darian Porter has been unbelievable. His athletic ability has really, truly shown out there on tape. I think Tommy Millard has impressed a lot of people. I mean, quite frankly, I would say the player out of all of the rookies that I have gotten the least information on is Charles Grant. And I don't know if that's good or bad or what have you, but I mean, I've heard a lot of good things about a lot of different players. And this is kind of the time of the year where, everybody's in the best shape of their life. It's a lot of hooting and hollering, a lot of rah-rah. But I also have talked to a lot of players for, I've talked to a few guys for multiple years that have been on this team. And the message to me that they keep saying, it's the same message we're seeing from a lot of people. It's just different this year, man. It is really, truly just different this season. And Raiders fans can see it out there on the practice field. When you got guys that love to show up, and again, think about how many players are sitting out. Think about how many Bengals guys aren't showing up to practice. They got their first-round guy ain't even there. And then you got the Raiders where you got Jacoby and Colton Miller, 2 guys that deserve extensions. They're out there non-mandatory things. Christian Wilkins is the only player who didn't show up today, but that's not that he didn't show up. It's because he's hurt. We're having 100% participation from guys that are 100% healthy enough to participate. That is a huge, huge tip of the cap to this organization. Also, another one! Bayou! We're banging. Bang! We used to always say when I used to play baseball, if somebody threw a fastball by you, we used to go down to the Louisiana Bayou. What up, Bayou? From the Bayou State, the boot.
But wait!
Let's get Krug Vandrick. Bang! This one goes out to the board games because I am a big damn board game nerd. Fun fact, I actually work in the video game industry. I'll tell you what, Ventrack, that is a awesome, awesome fun fact. And you know what? Since you did end up banging, let me see here. Yeah, one more for a boot, which I'll be honest, I didn't know if it was going to happen. We'll see if it does end up happening. My top 5 board games today that I said, in no particular order. I have Monopoly, Clue, Life, Trouble, and then probably my favorite. You remember Candyland?
Oh,
Candyland
is goated.
Dude, Candyland is absolutely electric, man. Absolutely electric. You know who else? Whitehead! First bang. Bang! Come on, Whitehead! Come on, dude! All right. I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of my word. We'll go get a boot. I'll let me see if I can get Cullen to get me one.
Whoa. So you said
On
3 more, right?
That was 3. That was 3. Was it not? Yeah.
No, yeah, I know.
That was 3.
I'm just looking at some deals.
Oh.
Who knows?
You want a boot race?
I don't know.
He's like, I don't know. I'll tell you this. I don't know. I might be able to get Cullen in here for a boot race. And this mustache. I mean, I'll tell you what. A 2-way boot race to bust out the mustache would be something.
If we get to 1,000, I'll do a boot race.
All right. If we get 3 more bangs, Reed's going to boot race with me. I'll make it a sweeter deal, though. If we get 4 bangs, we'll do a 3-way with Cullen. We'll do a 3. I might not be able to convince Cullen, but Cullen and Reed, they sit next to each other right across. I think Reed might be able to convince Cullen. But Cullen's a tank, though. Cullen's going to put us all to shame. The only person I've ever seen beat Jeremy Chuggs. Quite frankly, the only person I've seen be able to beat Jeremy Chuggs.
Robert Joseph wants to see the stash pretty bad.
It's a glorious stash, quite frankly. Also, what's glorious is the breaking news of the Las Vegas Raiders going out and signing Germaine Pratt to a 1-year deal. We decided to go live, $4.25 million. He can make up to 4.7. He can another like $500K in incentives. And here's my promise and my pledge. When breaking news happens, I promise you, I got you covered. It's actually funny, I think, sometimes how the world and just how life works, where all last week, I hate to admit this because I had such an amazing wedding week, but I was kind of nervous that some breaking news was going to happen while I was away. And, maybe that's an eye roll to some people, but I just have a lot of pride in doing this, and I take a lot of pride in my job. And, I want people to think of the Raiders Report as that number 1 spot. When breaking news happens, I want y'all to pull up here and get ready to have a good time and talk about it. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. I know I can chug beers. But I will say this, nobody can talk about the Raiders the way that I do, and I don't think anybody knows more about the Raiders on this planet. I don't care if you do a podcast. I don't care if you work at the Raiders. Coaches and all that shit's different. I'm talking about people that do what I do. No, I don't think there's anybody I don't think anybody's close to me, right? And I also think, though, if you don't have that mentality, and I don't care what you're doing, right? Ventrack, if you're doing video games, damn it, you should have that exact same mentality. White hat, if you make hats, maybe that's the mentality you got to have, right? Like, you got to be the best guy out there. But I'm also not afraid to be able to have a good time, and I hope people, when they see breaking news, know that we're going to be up here and we're going to have your back. So when last week nothing happened, I literally told I almost said my wife, Alex, this week, I go, the Raiders are probably going to do something today. Or they're probably going to do something this week. And the fact that something happened and it didn't happen during the wedding week, Pete Carroll, Spy Tech, honestly, guys, greatly
they
appreciate
knew.
it.
They go, well, we want to sign Germaine Pratt. They go, well, we can't yet because Mitch isn't here.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo. The video I had going out tomorrow morning, which would have went out, would have been around Germaine Pratt. So I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt for not pushing that video out today and saving the Jair one. But, it is what it is. It happens from time to time. I love this move. I really do. I think it's a really good move by the Raiders. How is our defense stacking up in the AFC West? I'll be real. I have to probably really truly sit down and look at the ins and the outs of all the defenses of the AFC West. But I know that the Raiders defense got better today. And, let me ask all y'all, do you agree with that statement? Y for yes and for no. Did the Raiders defense get better today? And I think when you think about the offseason in general, right? I know after free agency, there was a lot of people oh, man, we have to go out. We got to do a big move. We got to get a big move. I think when you see the Raiders, they have done it in a very smart way without breaking the bank. Now you basically got Landon Roberts and Germaine Pratt combined at $7 mil, or you're going to pay Robert Spillane basically $13 mil for the year. So I think the Raiders have shown you this offseason that they have gotten better and better and better, and they've done it in a smart way, because I think bad teams panic and they overspend in the offseason. I think teams that are confident in their ability do exactly what the Raiders are doing, and they don't overspend. All right, y'all, who wants a boot? We're putting a boot down. I just saw one come in from 93 Nab, man. We got 570 likes on this bad boy, close to 900 people in the building. I haven't done a boot in a while, so please don't judge me. I got happy dads here. I don't. There might be some wild cherry. This is a mixed batch.
Oh, I saw Cullen doing something.
I was say Cullen probably.
I saw him well, yeah. I mean,
this is definitely a mixed batch
because you got to put multiple in there.
Honestly, we usually get the variety pack of Happy Dads. So
I like the fruit punch.
See you, Cole. See you later. All right, y'all. This is going to go down. Hey, let's keep the questions flowing. Let's keep the good times a-rolling. I'm up here to be able to have a good time. Here at Chat Sports, the Raiders Part, I want you to think about this. Entertain and inform. I promise you we're going to do our best to entertain, and I will always do my best to inform the nation anytime breaking news happens. Cheers to all y'all out there. If you want a shout-out from the Mustache Man, I want to see some boots down below. I want to see some boots down below. And Germaine Pratt, if you see this crazy shit, I promise you this, Raider Nation will get down. Raider Nation will get down. You go out there and you give 110%, and we'll be doing a lot more of these for you as the season goes on.
Spam the boots or spam Chug. Hey, 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 hey. Oh, pretty fast. That's pretty fast. We got Raider Rob, Wolverine, Jeremy, Zalesbo, Rustin, Michael, John, Aaron, Shane, it's Ike Nasty, Michael, Rustin Ventrack, Timmy Jones, skills all day, and he's done. That was impressive.
So these new boots we have, I've noticed it's a lot easier than the other ones we have, and I don't know if it's the lip. I don't know if it's the shoe is smaller, so you don't get as much bubble. The new boots we have, that's the type of shit we invest in here at Chat Sports. What's gonna help us get the drink down quicker? I'll tell you what, not too bad. Though I got some serious burping. Serious burping going on. Boy. All right, why not Zadarius Smith on a one-year deal? It's a good question. I'll say this. To me, if you were to tell me that the Raiders were going to go out and they're going to get a player that could play on the defensive line, I think it would be Jadeveon Clowney. And I think it's just because of what he brings to the table, but it's also his connection with Pete Carroll. So Zadarius Smith is a good player. I just think that if we were going to add somebody, we would look at somebody along the lines of Jadeveon Clowney. Or I'll also say Quentin Jefferson. But Quentin Jefferson is not nearly as good.
I didn't even realize he had 9 sacks last year.
Who?
Zadarius Smith.
Yeah. Good player. Good player. Yeah, I mean, again, there's always a rhyme to a reason of why somebody's still out there on the open market, and maybe there's an injury we don't know about. I don't have all the ins and outs of it, but
Yeah, that's with Asante Samuel Jr. It's a neck injury.
Neck injury.
So
I was saying,
like,
I knew it was something that people were just really nervous about.
Yeah, so it's like you're like, oh yeah, he's young. Yeah,
Yep.
but he has a neck injury. It's like when you go and buy something that's got like a chip in it, and you're like, yeah, it's good, but look at the other side.
I mean, it's like buying a car and them not showing you the Carfax. I don't know if I would do it. Not a sponsor. How many wins this season? Hector's asking me. I'm hoping for 8 to 9 wins. And obviously I want to be able to sit up here and say, I want the Raiders to make the playoff. Of course I want the Raiders to make the playoffs. But I also think that the way that the Raiders are building this thing is they got that 3-year plan, right? Like, think about how they structured Max Crosby's contract. They front-loaded it, which tells me that they, in their 3rd year, Pete Carroll's final year is when I think that they're really going to make their big push for the Super Bowl. So to me, if you can win 8 to 9 games this season, and then if you can win 9 to 10 games the next season, and then if you can win, 10 to 12 games in that 3rd year, that puts you in that Super Bowl window. But at the same time, I mean, Geno Smith, 6th most wins out of any quarterback over the past 3 seasons, 27 wins. Only Jared Goff, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, and Patrick Mahomes have more wins than Geno Smith over the past 3 seasons, which probably surprised a lot of people. What up, Rock and Jock? We should still trade for Ramsey to add to the defense. I guess, what are you going to give him, though? You know what I mean? Are you going to trade for what does that do to Darian Porter? What does that do to Eric Stokes? I know Jalen Ramsey is an absolute flipping dog. I totally get that. You're probably going to have to give up a 3rd-round pick, though, and it's basically a 1-year prove-it deal. Are you willing to do a 1-year prove-it deal, give up a 3rd-round pick? I just don't think that that's going to be the Raiders because, again, I think that they like their outside corners a lot more than what people realize, and I also think that Pete Carroll's the type of guy that goes, why am I going to go out and spend all this money on Jalen Ramsey? Not that Jalen Ramsey isn't really good, or I can invest a little bit of money and I can work with cornerbacks like I've done my entire career. So I hear you loud and clear. Again, if they traded for Ramsey, I would not be upset about it at all. Let's go to my man, Nabman, Raider Shield family. Congrats on the wedding, Mitch. Happy for you and Alex. My best wishes for a long and happy life for the two of you. For Pratt, 143 tackles, 83 solo, and 2 forced fumbles. Enough said. I will say that sometimes I caution people who throw out tackling numbers for linebackers because sometimes it means you get picked on, right? If a team always throws at you and you give up a 5, 8, 7-yard catch, but you made the tackle, is that actually a good stat? For me, though, when I watched Germaine Pratt, and I watched a little bit of tape on him yesterday, because, again, we talked about him, this is a good linebacker move. And this is, to me, the best linebacker that the Raiders have on their team. And that's got to fire you up. And I know this. It fires me up. All right, y'all. I don't see any more questions. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put out the bat signal. The final chance to get your questions in around the breaking news, around the Raiders going out and signing Germaine Pratt. I got to give a huge shout out to everybody that has already shown love on this stream, from Venthrak to the Night Devil to Bayou to freaking White Hat throwing in his first bang of the freaking year. I mean, all of it. I can't wait for this upcoming Raiders season. And the fact that we had, again today, over 1,000 people on June 11th that just want to talk Raiders, those are the type of sickos that I love. Those are the type of people that I want pulling up here to the Raiders Port as often as humanly possible. What up, Aaron? I keep saying that we did sign Shaq Griffin, or was it a camp invite? It was an invite. If I get word that the Raiders signed him, I promise you this, I will let you know. I only talk about things that have legs. And what do I mean by that? Every single rumor that I talk about on this show, it was either reported or there was another rumor from a credited source. If I talk about something being breaking news, it's because something happened. And don't get me wrong, I got to make content. It's my job, and I've made it my job, and I'm very proud to say that I've been able to make it my job. But if Shaq Griffin signed, we'd be talking about it. He just hasn't signed yet. He was a camp invite, though. What up, Dre? Do Do you think that Genty rushes for more than 1,200 yards? I hope so. I mean, I'll tell you this. I talked about it today a little bit in minicamp, and I'd love to hear what you'd have to say about this, Reed. There's a chance that Ashton Genty could return kicks. There's a chance. They talked about it. McMahon even said it. The Raiders special teams coach said there is a chance that Ashton Genty could return kicks because the way that the Raiders are valuing the new kickoff return rules, they value it a lot more like running the football.
I hate it.
I don't disagree that I hate it. If he can stay healthy, you love it. If this is Madden and I can turn the injuries off, absolutely love it. Put the ball in his gut.
Yeah.
But to me, they're trying to do everything in their power to make Ashton Genty a 3-down back. And Genty's been working his tail off. He's been catching the football.
So he would become a 4-down back then?
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. A bell cow back is somebody that is all 3 downs. I don't know what you're going to call it if he's also doing kickoff returns.
Siren bell cat.
No idea. I have absolutely, positively no idea.
I think he's going to be, personally, I think he's going to be top 5 running back in 2025.
I think Ashton Genty is already a top 5 running back, and I think when you look at what the Raiders have done, where, I don't know if Dante Thornton Jr. is going to be as good as, what we've been hearing and reporting about, but to me, I'm going to look at a guy like Dante Thornton Jr., and obviously, the yards, the touchdown catches, all that. But if you were to tell me right now, Ashton Genty averages 5.5 yards per carry when Thornton's on the field compared to 4.5 yards per carry when Thornton's off the field, I'm going to go, that's like, to me, that means Dante Thornton had I almost dropped an F-bomb, a freaking great year. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I think that this team's going to evaluate a guy like a Thornton, like Tucker, who can go out there and block. If you drafted a running back at number 6 overall with all the other holes that this Raiders team had, plus how much this team values the trenches when other offensive linemen were there, I would be upset if Genty didn't get 1,200 rushing yards, quite frankly. Let's go to Shane Morris. What up, Shane? Is there a safety you could see us adding, or do you believe the staff believes in our late-round picks we've invested in the past few seasons? I still think that there is absolutely a chance that the Raiders sign a safety, and if it was up to me, we would sign a safety. I think Justin Simmons is a name to keep in mind. I think Julian Blackmon would have been a name to keep in mind. I'll tell you this. I wonder if Mike Hilton is going to be a name to keep in mind. Slot corner has been a position that I've thrown out there multiple times, and the fact that Mike Hilton has also got playing reps with Germaine Pratt, who the Raiders just signed. But to me, Jeremy Chin is clearly your best safety. Isaiah Polamalu still got to grow a little bit more. Lonnie Johnson Jr. has been the safety 3. And then for Thomas Harper, he's been working a little bit, in the nickel. I'll be honest, I have not really heard a lot about Trey Taylor. I have not really heard a lot about Chris Smith. And you also got to remember, those are 2 late-round guys. Smith was drafted in the 5th round by McDaniels and Ziegler. Trey Taylor was a 7th-round pick, former Jim Thorpe Award winner by this past regime. So, it's not that I don't have confidence. I have more confidence in Trey Taylor than I do Chris Smith, and that's nothing against Smith. I believe in Trey Taylor's talent just a little bit more. All right, y'all. I don't see any more questions down there below. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in to today's show. So I'm getting ready to hop on out of here. The breaking news that ended up going down today, the Las Vegas Raiders ended up signing linebacker Germaine Pratt. 1 year, $4.25 million deal. He can also make an additional $500K in incentives. If you don't think Germaine Pratt's going to start, that's okay with you. I would simply just say money talks. And when you hear that Pratt got a 1 year for 4.7 and a Landon Roberts got 1 for 3 and Devin White got 1 for 1.2, I think that just goes to show you how they value Germaine, what they think of him, and I don't know if he's going to be out there at practice tomorrow. I kind of really hope that he is. I think it'd be really fun to see Pratt, out there at mandatory minicamp. And if he is, awesome. If he's not, it is what it is.
Even just on the sideline.
Yeah, I would hope that he's out there in some capacity. I want Germaine Pratt to make an appearance. Again, Shaq Griffin, he ended up having a visit with the Raiders today. We will see, just how it all unfolds. But from me, from my guy Reed, to everybody that banged and everybody that participated on today's show, huge shout out to all y'all. And again, Germaine Pratt, welcome to Raider Nation. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, live on the Raiders Report. Peace out. And we're back because Mr. Awesome Bang! Dude, I'm telling you what, as soon as we ended the live stream, Mr. Awesome said, "Not so fast, sweetheart. Not so fast. Congratulations and drink up." So guess what? Mr. Awesome just bought y'all another 5 minutes live here on the Raiders Report. We're just going to still up here hang out, answer some questions. We're going to be breaking it all down with the nation. Dude, cheers to you, man. And as soon as it came, Reed goes, "Dude, I think we just got another one." I'm like, all right, F it. We'll stay here. Yep, unbelievable, man. My opinion said, "Are you serious? We really signed Pratt?" Yes, I am serious. We really signed Pratt. And then we were getting ready to hop off, but I mean, come on, man. Mr. Awesome.
I feel like he did it on purpose,
awesome.
too. I feel
he
like
was sitting there waiting.
He goes, wait for them to get up, and then I'm going to send it.
Click. Click. Dude, I'll tell you what. That was legendary, man. Sammy77 said, "Hey, we back." Guess what?
Still.
When y'all do legendary shit,
540.
we do legendary shit.
The people are coming back. They're like, wait.
They're like, "What happened? I thought the show ended." I did too, quite frankly. I also thought
your
it
headphones off.
Yeah, I was walking out, I was leaving, and Mr. Awesome said, "Not so fast, sweetheart. Not so fast." Well, I'll tell you what. I'm a man that likes to make a good deal. I'm a man that likes to make a good deal. Because Mr. Awesome did this, 2 bangs away, and Reed's going to put down a boot. And more importantly, y'all get to see the stash. Though, I feel like if we keep this thing going, I mean, if y'all want to turn this into a shit show, Y for yes, N for no. I mean, I'm down, man. I'm kind of down to get down. What up, Sammy? What up, Chewies? My opinion, I'm blown away. Pause. You know, sometimes that's the best when you get the pause. I don't know what I was going to say. I'm actually surprised how much that boot originally hit me because I haven't eaten anything today. I was actually getting ready to go for my workout, and then the breaking news happened of the Raiders going out and getting Germaine Pratt. Pretty wild stuff, man. Malachi Muhammad, did Jack Besh ever sign his deal? No, not yet. He is still the only Raiders player that hasn't signed, Raiders rookie that hasn't signed his deal yet, though that's less to do with Jack Besh and everything to do with the second rounders that have already signed their deal. And I only say that simply because there was 2 deals that were fully guaranteed that kind of screwed up the money and how exactly everything was going to work out. So there's a lot of second rounders that actually haven't signed their picks yet. But I'm going to refresh my computer because I feel like there's a handful of people that are like, "Are we here or are we not here?" Andres, been listening. All I've heard today is how if we're going to sign a guy, we should go grab Pratt. Yeah, I mean, I talked about it yesterday that, to me, I thought that the guy that was a little bit more likely that the Raiders would sign was Germaine Pratt and not so much Jair Alexander. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. So we are getting ready. I don't see any more questions on here. Yeah, we could do the countdown. Let's do it. Let's go get the countdown. You know what? I'm a guy that likes to have a good time on this show. So as soon as you click that countdown to sign off, then this will officially begin our countdown to sign off here on, again, a breaking news show that the Raiders went out and they got themselves Germaine Pratt, which I'm very, very proud of this organization for, again, acting like a smart organization and going out and doing something that, without a doubt, makes your football team better. And I think that we all agree that this move makes this football team better. Raiders sign Germaine Pratt. My instant thoughts. 6 a.m. These thoughts. I mean, Germaine Pratt, dude, that's a good move. I actually really think that's a good move.
It's a great move.
Yep. I still think it's a good move.
Cheap.
Huh?
Cheap deal.
Yeah, I mean, 4.25 up to 4.7. I mean, that's a huge win. I really do. I think it's a huge win. Andre, as soon as I get off work, I see we signed him. Way to capitalize, Raider Nation. Well, I mean, the person that capitalized was Mr. Awesome. He said drink it up. So I don't want to hop off screen to go grab more beers. I was going to say, if you want to just go grab me a few dads, just give me a few cans, and we'll see if this thing turns into a shit show. If not, it is what it is. We'll hop on out of here. But, you know, we literally, yeah, you can just grab me 2 cans. That's fine. That's probably all I'll need. We literally ended the live show. Like, ended it. Took off the headset. I was started unplugging stuff, and then Mr. Awesome said, nah, you're staying for a little bit longer. You're staying for a little bit longer. Drew H., it's an honor to be a part of the nation. Couldn't agree with you more, man. You know, like, I am a Raiders fan because of the nation. And I know that might not be it's probably a strange thing to even, like, say or talk about, but I love the Raiders because of how many loyal people always show up to this show, but also people that just show up for, like, the Raiders. You know, like, I'm a big commitment guy, and I'm a big loyalty guy. I'm a big honesty guy. And I don't think there's been a fan base that I've seen here at Chat Sports that, you know, personifies all those things, commitment to excellence. And I really think that Raiders fans do. And it's not an easy thing being a Raiders fan, I'll tell you that. You only get the real ones. What up, Dre? Congrats to you and your wife, Mitch. I've been watching for years and wish you the best. Thank you very much. It was so cool to – yeah, that works. It was so cool to be able to, like, honestly see Alex's family, see my family come together. It was really, truly a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, Mr. Awesome, I got one right here for you, man. Cheers to you, dudes. Thank you so much for getting this show started. And my final deal, and then I'll leave. 2 bangs. I'll throw that one down. I'll crack open this one, and then Reed's got to do a boot. If we get 2 bangs, Reed's got to put down a boot, and I'll put down 2 dads. Or in this case,
hey,
a happy mom. Yeah, that's true. I'm going to put down 2 dads. I mean, that sounds honestly like a typical Saturday.
Sounds like
a typical Saturday for some people. Drew H., thank you for reading the comment. Mitch, love you, brother. Let's get it going. You know, I'm always down to have a good time, and I think in the off season, I pray for breaking news because there's not too often where we actually get to, like, talk about something that's relevant happening in that exact moment. So when it happens, it's always a good feeling.
After taking over for a channel, I'm like, I need something to happen.
You need something.
I need something.
Yeah,
Because then
true.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, I talked about this already. I talked about that already. I talked about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to make content during the regular season. To me, though, I want you to subscribe to the Raiders Report. If you're that Raiders fan that's in the middle of June and you're going, I don't give a shit that it's June. I want to know Raiders. And to me, those are the people that subscribe to this show. All right, y'all. I think what's going to happen is I am going to hop on out of here now. If anybody bangs again, I don't know what I'm going to do. But next time y'all are going to see me is going to be on Thursday, tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. And then I'm going to be live again on Friday for our Raiders-Chiefs Madden simulation. Please make sure you pull up. The Raiders are 5-0-1, I think, which is just jugs, man. It's just jugs. But I will be back live again tomorrow. Germaine Pratt, welcome to the nation. Mr. Awesome. We'll see if this happens again. From me, from Reed. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Go Raiders.